Hey there, I'm RJ, and this is going to be my February reading roundup, starting with books I physically read, and then onto the tablet. I'm going to go into like regular books that I read, advanced reader copies that I had, and then comic books is at the end. This isn't going to be in chronological order, it was kind of all mixed up, but I figure that's the easiest way because I know not everyone's going to be interested, especially in the comic stuff, so it's coming at the end, and there's a lot of them. And I also just wanted to differentiate things that I got an advanced reader copy for versus other books that I read either from the library or that I bought. So, starting with physical books, this is kind of an order. The first one is Dune. I finished Dune finally, which I was reading last month. Didn't take me that long. It's actually surprisingly readable. I thought it was going to be more dense than it is, considering how long it is. But the actual text, at least in my copy, only really goes to here. Um, like it's this portion, so it is the majority, but there's a lot of back matter in this copy, so it's not quite as intimidating as it looks. But yeah, really enjoyed that. Next is this puzzle book. I'm a big fan of puzzle books, and as the year goes on, there's a couple coming out that I'm really excited for, specifically the Myrtle series. I love those. I'm a big fan. But this one I just got from Chapters last month and finished it, and it was fine. It was fun. Like it has a plot. Thought it was cute. There's a dog. We love a dog. But the problem was a lot of the puzzles were just math problems, and I don't really love that. I would rather them be like an actual puzzle, like a logic puzzle, and not just do math. Like that's not what I'm here for. And about like a third of them were math problems. Next were some disappointing reads. Unfortunately, it was the X-Files Origins series. So both the Agent of Chaos and Devil's Advocate. I was really disappointed in these. I thought that they could have been better. The writing was really poor. It kind of read like they knew X-Files fans were going to buy these books and so didn't really care about making them good. The Mulder one, which is Agent of Chaos, was a bit better than the Devil's Advocate one because genuinely I felt like the Devil's Advocate one wasn't edited heavily enough. I felt like there was a structural edit at some point and then no line edit to follow up to make sure the details made sense. So there was a bunch of inconsistencies in the dialogue. People would repeat themselves all the time. People called each other different titles and names. And it just felt like something got changed at some point and then it wasn't properly edited. And that was really disappointing because these are published by, I believe, HarperCollins or something like that. And they have the money. And so it really felt like they knew because it's a licensed book and a licensed title, people were going to buy it and they just didn't really care about making it good. And that's disappointing, especially as an X-Files fan. These have been on my shelf for multiple years though, so I'm happy that I finally read them and can move them off. That's it for the physical books. Now on to the ebooks that I read. This is also not in chronological order. I kind of grouped things together a little bit just to make things easier for myself because there's two books I read that are in a series, but I didn't read them back to back because the library, they were both available in February, but you know, library stuff. So I'm just grouped them together, and it takes two to tumble, and a gentleman never keeps score by Cat Sebastian. That the first two in the Turners series, no, not Turners. I don't remember what series these are the two in. So, but they're the first two in a series. I do have the next one reserved. I have a hold on it, but not ready yet. So the next one is Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Novoa. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that. This was cute. I read it for a book club. It's a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I just felt it is a YA book. It was weird that the characters are aged down a bit, and Mr. Darcy was really defanged. Like it wasn't really the same dynamic. It honestly felt like it might have been better suited to be an original fiction book than a retelling because it really only took the trappings of Pride and Prejudice and didn't really do anything super interesting with it. Which, when I get to the advanced reader copies, you'll see I have kind of a stronger opinion after having read another book that I'm going to talk about a bit later, about how it didn't really do anything with being a Pride and Prejudice retelling. Like it almost didn't matter. And it felt like the author just wanted to have that as a selling point and didn't think that their book would sell without being based on something else, which is unfortunate because I did think it was quite cute and I think it could have done well. Honestly marketed. And the next one is another Cat Sebastian. Been reading a lot of her, and that's The Queer Principles of Kit Webb. I also thought this one was quite cute. Another Cat Sebastian. Daniel Cabot Puts Down Roots. This is the third, not 100% sure where it actually falls in the Cabot series by Cat Sebastian. I've enjoyed all of them so far. This one might have been the favorite, though. I really, really enjoyed the dynamic between the characters. I thought it was very cute. Next, this is kind of a departure from what I normally read, and there is a reason for it. There's kind of like a backstory, and it's House of Elephants in the Witchling series. This is the third book. My wonderful friend Caitlin read this to me and some of my friends since last October, and we just finished up this month. It's an adorable series. We read it on vacation 2 years ago, the first book. Second book came out, we all read it together. Third book came out, reading it together, so on. You get it. It's very cute. It's very middle grade. If you want to have a middle grade book in a fantasy setting with like those magical school elements, it's very much similar to Harry Potter, but it is more diverse and a lot better on those fronts. And the author's not transphobic, so that's awesome. And it's very, very cute. So I would definitely recommend this to anyone who has a middle schooler or anyone who wants to read middle grade for whatever reason. The next one is The Magpie Lord by KJ Charles. I thought it was fine. I've now read 2 KJ Charles books. Everyone says, like, if you like Cat Sebastian, you should also read KJ Charles. But I just don't think her books are for me, unfortunately. Like, this is the second one I've read, and I read a short story, and there's elements that have been consistent throughout. And I read the descriptions of her other books. They seem to remain consistent. That just really aren't for me, unfortunately. So as much as, I also find the plots are a little bit threadbare at times. It's just a romance book, but she kind of tries to infuse too much plot, but then doesn't actually wrap them up properly. And I find there's always loose threads at the end that leave me frustrated. And there's certain dynamics between the characters that there's just not for me. So I've canceled a hold on another book I had for her and kind of removed her from my want to read, unfortunately, because it just doesn't seem like it's for me, which is fine. If it's for you, I hope you really enjoy her books. Okay, now on to the advanced reader copies that I had this month. The first is The Unlikely Pursuit of Mary Bennet. So you see, this is obviously another Pride and Prejudice. It's not a retelling, though. It's a sequel. It's between Charlotte Lucas and Mary Bennet. It's very cute. Similarly, though, I found it being a sequel to Pride and Prejudice didn't really add a lot to the plot. These could have been 2 original characters, and you could have given us the same experience, because it honestly didn't require that you had read or remembered Pride and Prejudice at all. So again, this kind of falls into me wondering if the author just didn't trust that people would like their book if it wasn't based on another property. However, I did give this quite a high rating because I thought it was very sweet and it's very cute. Next is The Shots You Take by Rachel Reed. I've had hit or miss with Rachel Reed books, but this one was definitely a hit. I thought it was a very cute second chance romance between some older characters. They're retired hockey players. Very cute. I had a lot of fun with this one, and there's a dog. Next is My Best Friend's Honeymoon by Meryl Wilsner. Again, very cute. There are certain elements where there was inconsistencies, but this is an advanced reader copy, so I pointed those out in my NetGalley review. Hopefully those will be resolved by the time it actually comes out. They were really, really minor, just like a couple instances where things were referenced to have happened like a different number of years ago, and then that not, gelling, and like that happens. I used to be an editor, so I totally get that happens. Which is why I pointed it out, because it's nobody's fault. You miss one line, it happens. However, really enjoyed it, really cute. Kind of a best friends to lovers romance with some fun stuff thrown in. Next is A Merciful Sea by Katie Daish. This one comes out this month. So good. I had her first 2 books on my best reads of 2024 last year, Leeward and A Devil to Pay. I love this series. This was such a good finale to this series. I recommend this to everyone who likes historical fiction. Honestly, I recommend this series to everyone. I'm obsessed with it. I'm so excited to see what she does next. and I really, really enjoyed it. And it may end up on my top reads of 2025 too. Like, I loved it. And I've already pre-ordered a physical copy to match with my first two. And okay, now we are on to comics. Again, this is not going to be chronological. I kind of grouped things together. So starting off on limited series that I read that are, all in one book together, and then we'll move on from that. So the first one here is Superman Smashes the Klan. This one is highly recommended and is just as good as everyone says it is. It's very timely as well. Really enjoyed that. Then Superman American Alien, Harvests of Youth, Birthright, and Red and Blue. Really enjoyed all of them. Some of those are kind of the ones that are going to be packaged with the movie that comes out this summer. Specifically, I believe Birthright is. So I kind of took it as pre-reading. I want to make a video about like how I've found comics to read as a person who started reading comics as an adult, and because I found it really like intimidating to get into the world of comic books, and so I want to make a video kind of breaking it down for potentially new viewers or readers, I guess is the better word to use, and what I've done to figure out what I want to read and sort of navigate that stuff. So, and that's one of the things is saw what people recommended to read in advance of this movie. So that's one of them. Really enjoyed all of those. I'd say my favorite was probably Red and Blue, which I actually read last night. It was really, really good. It was very good. Next is The Boy Wonder by Junie Ba. This was so clever and so interesting. It's told in sort of like a folklore style, so it's very unique, and I thought the story was very good. Next, we have the Batman and Robin ones. There were 3. I caught up with it, and then there's the new issue from this month. So that's what I read. I'm liking that series so far. It's very cute. And then after that, I just have all the editions for the current Superman run. I read through all of them. So I have all the titles here. That's it, I think. So I read through all of them, caught up. So that's why there's so many comics on this one. I'm not going to go through them all together. Really enjoying the current run though. But that is the main reason why there are so many comics this month. Probably it'll be less next month, but I guarantee nothing because there's at least one kind of equally long run that I'm looking to read that has, a similar number of volumes and issues. So we'll see how that is. So that is my February roundup. I can't really think of a question to ask this month. Maybe if you read puzzle books, do you count those on Goodreads or do you look for them at all? What do you look for in a puzzle book that you read? Let me know in the comments.